Dear students and members of Faculty of Architecture and Design, welcome. Good evening. Today we are hosting a global interior architecture company, Ofist, in our online ArchiDesign Talks series. So Ofist was co-founded by distinguished and successful interior architects Yasemin Arpaç and Sabahattin Emir. And I am honored to present a colleague I admire and a dear friend, Yasemin Arpaç, tonight. Before leaving the microphone to Yasemin Arpaç, I want to very shortly give brief information about the partners and the company Ofist. Yasemin Arpaç was graduated from Bilkent University Department of Interior Architecture and Environmental Design in 1998. She got her master's degree in Design, Culture and Management program in Bilgi University. And Sabahattin Emir was graduated from Mimar Sinan University, Department of Interior Architecture in 1992. He received his master's degree in Industrial Design from Industrial Design program from Istanbul Technical University in 1997. And afterwards, in 2004, Ofist was founded by these two co-founders, Yasemin and Emir. The partners are focusing on creating designs with the responsibility and awareness of being a part of a city which still embodies the profound traces of different cultures inhabited in this metropolis over many centuries. They focus on each and every project with its own conditions, accuracies, and do not apply pre-practice solutions and solution patterns, regardless of the characteristics of the individual projects and spaces. Ofist is practicing different projects from different sectors and scales, such as public, commercial, and residential projects, and even product design. I would like to give the word to Yasemin, but before I also would like to mention a few awards which have been gained by them and their projects. In 2019, they have been nominated for the Building of the Year 2019 awards by ArchDesign in the commercial by their project ID Optics. And 2070 and 80 in both years, European Property Award. Dear students, please, yes, turn off your mics. So in 2017 and 18, European Awards, European Property Awards, interior design category, they have won the award by Karaköy Loft, which is a very nice project. Most probably we're going to see a few images of it, hopefully. And in 2017, Archie Lovers Best Project, they have won this award by their staircase designs. So there are many more, but I would like to end it up here. And on behalf of our faculty and students, I extend my gratitude to Yasemin Arpaç for joining us today, for sparing some time today to us. The microphone is yours, Yasemin, dear Yasemin. Please, yes, you can start.
So thank you for inviting me. I'm here to represent the bitter half, probably the bad cup of Ofist. Emir won't be joining us. Thank you very much again for inviting me and for everyone being with me tonight. So I'll start with the presentation immediately and we'll just see how it will go. And please do not hesitate to ask questions or if there's anything you would like to add or ask you don't understand or something like that, please just interrupt me. Be comfortable with that. Okay, so let me first open the presentation. Yes. So it would be nice if you can if you see the presentation or not.
Yes, Yasemin Hocam, we're seeing it.
So we can proceed then.
Yes.
So since you had a brief introduction about us, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. So what we are trying to do and who we are. We think that we are the creative design side of the sector. So you can choose which part you are going to take place in the scene of interior architecture. And I suggest you strongly to choose right from the beginning so that you will develop your practices on that specific scene. So there's creative side, there is implementation side, there is the product or purchasing side, many sides. So we are on the creative design. Actually, we didn't decide on it when we just started our interior design life first, but it just evolved so. And we design with attention. So this is the very famous or infamous, I don't know how to just name it anymore, the Karaköy loft. Somehow it became too popular. We just cannot track the publishings or like even the awards anymore. This is a house in Karaköy, and it was not named as a loft because it's not a loft. It was not an industrial place. But somehow, all in media, it just appeared as Karaköy Loft. So we, after one point, we just accepted the name as it is, and we just changed everything in our websites and so. This is a house for a middle-aged man, single man. Everything is designed for him and for this specific place. So I think when I continue with the presentation about other approaches of ours, we'll be able to explore more about the projects as well. So I'm not going to just talk too much about them. On the other hand, this is an office project. So you can see how a residential project can be designed. Of course, we design everything, but like on design purpose, and even a commercial one or an office project can be design oriented. So this was the entrance of the project, and this is how it was seen. The entrance was seen from the meeting room. This project is complete right now, but we have to eliminate the ceiling items, which was like sad for us, you know. But you have to think from every point of view, the user's point of view, the cost, the budget-wise, etc. We'll come to them as well. So we love to design and solve problems. You have to create one in order to solve it. So this is also a project in Karaköy. This is an eyewear store actually, but the brief we had in here from the client was that he didn't know how he's going to maintain the store, that he's a wholesaler of these brands, specific and very exquisite brands, but he just wanted to just create an example of how the retail part of this item should be. But he said, like, I'm going to rent this place for meetings, or maybe they can use the space in biennials, or like we can arrange some tastings in here, or we can have parties, like multi-purpose, multifunctional area he was looking for. And he said, I think this is very important, he said, I want everyone visiting here to take a photo and post it on Instagram or social media. This is how we get briefs lately. So this is very unique, and not unique actually. It's where the world and life has been right now. So it's interesting. So, very simple design ideas in here. These are just yoga blocks. Because of the material itself, it is light, it is durable against heat, against fire as well. So it is familiar, it is fun. So we just hung them from the ceiling. They're cork material, and we created some lighting with that as well. And for the rest of the store, I can tell there's just one single idea in here. There's these metal sheets with holes in it, and they act as like separators, some panels to hang stuff. These shelves and like eyewear holders can be removed, and this whole place can act as something else. You can hang hangers, clothes hangers, or like artworks, art pieces. And on the other side, it becomes like a kitchenette and a workshop area, and so on. Simple ideas, actually. So please take a look at this table as well, because I'm going to mention it in the next slides. This is just a cork covered table. This is like 4 meter long table, and these metal parts do not hold this table. This 4 meter table is just hung from 4 corners with metal strings. The reason is that there is a garage way in here, and they take in a car or motorcycles from this garage way. So you have to either remove or pull away the table in here. So this is easy. This is a lightweight table. You can just, once you screw off these screws in here, you can just pull the table and you can bring in whatever you like. So this is simple, but let's see how it goes. There's also an art piece in here. There was a photographer's exhibition when we took these professional photographs in here for the multifunction pieces. So we don't have pre-practiced solutions. We try to start from scratch, and we try to find genuine solutions for every project. And we blend this excitement with experience. So it's now like 16 years now with Emir and me together. And we try not to repeat ourselves. How we do that? Like for the table, I think this is a good example. Emir gives this example sometimes. When you start to design a table, when you describe the table as like, table is a furniture with 4 legs and it stands. When you describe it like this, you end up with a furniture with 4 legs. But when you ask yourself first, what is a table? Like, a table is just a horizontal layer which needs to hold items and like liquids, like everything horizontal to the world, like to the earth. So when you approach the problem like this, when you approach the question like this, maybe you're going to end up with a table with 4 legs, but there is a possibility that you might end up with a table which is hung from the ceiling, which comes out from the wall, or just I don't know, which is floating with without the, I don't know, you can end up with anything, but you have to ask yourself first, like, what am I trying to do? So this is, I think, how I can explain this subject very well. This is a house on Istiklal Street. It belongs to an English woman, a middle-aged English woman, and this is an extension of a century-year-old historical building, but which kind of lost its characteristics because of this extension, which was done like probably 20, 30 years ago. And when we entered this space first, Turkish people like to gain meter square, not the volume. So there was a flat in here, and this was the entrance, and this was dark. So there was a room up here. So what we tried to do was get rid of the room and have a volume instead of more meter square. One more thing. This was during Gezi protest, and as you can probably remember, they cut the trees in the park first. So these steps of the staircase, metal staircase, these were laser cut, and these little holes represent those leaves. So this is how you design, actually, like you get inspired by some things, or this staircase maybe wouldn't end up anything like this when if it was not during Gezi Park protests. I don't know. So this, another staircase. This is one of our first residential projects, and it was in Ayşe Sultan Kursu in Bebek. Perfect location, beautiful scene, and greenery. And it is located on the penthouse. It is the penthouse of one of Professor Nezih Eldem, architect Professor Nezih Eldem's building, and it reflects like 1970s. It reflects the its times architectural approaches so well. So we were very excited being a part of it, and we tried to add everything so carefully and respectfully. And this is the living room of the house. We don't choose the size of the project. But we choose the originality or the excitement, like something new that we can create and make a difference. We don't like to repeat ourselves, and we don't like to work on the same or similar projects. So this is Wadi Al Haddab compound project in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This project we worked with TED Architecture. Together with TED Architecture, we designed the interiors, which was about 100 meters square closed space. And this was exciting. This was something very new for us. We haven't been to Riyadh, and we didn't. Everything is so very, how can I say, like, you can reach everything now, like with Google or like with internet, you can reach everywhere. There's nothing that we can say we don't know, or there's nothing you can not find. So it was very interesting, because like we were even like surprised, like how are we going to do it when even we don't see the location. Anyway, we learned a lot from this project. We learned how to work with so many companies. It's not like company, like there are so many people, and like the cost management part, the maintenance part, like everybody is suggesting something, and like it's not ever possible to please everyone. So you have to compromise. We learn to compromise actually. So it's for example, this bedside, we didn't do it. That's why I especially placed it in here, because like first they came and they said, in Riyadh we cannot do this implementation with this good quality. We found the company who can. Then they came and they said it's too expensive, we cannot do it. And they said we tried to find then more reasonable prices. They said we have so many houses in here, and we might not keep the same implementation, the same quality with all these houses. And then they came again with the maintenance part. They said if there is a scratch or there's something with this, and later on we won't be able to just repair the specific part, we will have to just cover it and paint it all over again, and this might be too painful and too expensive for us. And we tried to solve all these problems, and then they came again and they said we might later on decide to move this bedroom to another place, or just change the rotation of this bed, so we need more mobile and flexible furnitures. And this part maybe I should keep it to myself, but another one came and said, please work with this company and buy the products from this company. So there's no end to it, and you compromise, but you learn how to still create, design, and add value to a project which needs you very much, with all those compromises. Okay, this is important. On the other hand, this is just a staircase project. It was like this before. This is a house just behind Zorlu in Istanbul, and a very modern dwelling actually, which this staircase, old staircase, didn't belong there at all, and which just opened up just in the middle of living room. We just painted the house white later on, changed the skirtings, I guess, yes, and that's all apart from the staircase. For this staircase, yes, we created a bigger space in here, a bit construction. But then again, a simple idea. The idea was not to use just one single additional structural element than it needs for all this metal construction, just as much as it needs. So once we received an email from Germany, an engineering student had written to us that he found everything about this strip case online, all the photographs and the project, but he couldn't find the structural engineering project. And I said, you cannot find, because there's none. We just placed just enough of metal that to hold it, and nothing else. And I remember just adding one, I think maybe it was in here, just to afterwards, because like there was a little bit of flexibility like in one of the steps, which just gave a bit uncomfort to the user. So we just added one later on. But just a staircase, which became very popular again too. I don't know. I remember when we were teaching in Bahçeşehir University, one of the students came to Emir and showed this staircase and said, I'm trying to create something like this, or I'm thinking of a design like this, and one of the other students were like saying, no, it's their project, and so every project is unique. Therefore, each project becomes tailor-made. This is Karaköy Loft again. In this project, everything besides the chairs and the sofa and the mattress of the bed, everything is fixed. Everything is structurally fixed and structurally designed. So there's no way this guy can pull this whole structure, this counter, table, 10 centimeters here or other side. So you have to be very accurate. You have to design so perfectly that it will work. So this is very unique, and this is very to the point, designed for its user only, and this is very tailor-made actually. So there's just one simple idea of a storage system which continues all through one wall, climbing up upstairs as well. And there's a grid of 60 by 60 centimeters. Very simple idea, very simple material, but perfect implementation it needs, because like all these shelves and these hangers and like maybe these shelves, double or single shelves, these separators, he can move. He can move and place them other side of the grid. And he can just shape this whole space however he wishes. For this, you have to be very accurate. Your 60 by 60 centimeter grid cannot be 60.5 or something like that. Then it will be stuck. So this is another one. This is a 42 unit residence project. So how can be unique for this? How can you be tailor-made? So you have to ask yourself, because like there are many residential projects, and as far as also you know, there are so many construction going on in Turkey, and there are many projects like this. So in order for this one to be different from another, you have to be clever. So most of these constructions like happen to be without really clever ideas or architects. This guy was a bit more clever. He came and found us. He spent a little bit more than he would actually. So what we came up with for this design. So this is the entrance door. This is 3-room flat. This is an entrance door, and there is the hallway, and there's behind this separator, the glass separator, there's the kitchen, and there is no daylight in the kitchen. The other side, this part is the living room. So in order to have light in this kitchen, we created this separator first. What this separator gives for first our client is, of course, if he would just build a wall in here, this would be much more cheaper. But this design is not a very expensive design. This material is not also very expensive. This is just iron profiles and like sheets. But this gives a flexibility for the client that he can offer some stained glass or just clear glass, colored glass, or maybe wooden panels, or like even maybe something like which looks like more like a wall. Or even after he sells this house, the user can just create this space as like a library or a storage for the kitchen or for art pieces, or just he can just leave it so empty and sleek. So this is how you create, how you give the chance for the user to create his or her own unique project, which makes this flat different than the next door flat. Okay. Analyzing. This is very important, I guess. I think when we are teaching, we also try to emphasize this a lot. We try to analyze the needs of the project deeply, and we try to evaluate every single project on its own circumstances. We try to generate accurate solutions. Analyzing well is the key to create unique, exciting, successful, and etc. projects, but above all, to create the correct project. Look, there is no good project, there is no bad project, there is no beautiful or ugly project. Someone can like it, someone can maybe will not like it, but there is the correct project, so that it will last once you're out of it as an interior designer. Mandarin Oriental Bodrum. I don't know if you ever saw the project, ever seen the place. It's in like Cennet Koyu, which is like really a paradise, or was a paradise. And the development created is like very urban, very like, which can fit every big city. Like, it doesn't have to be even Istanbul, or it doesn't have to be Istanbul or Turkey. You can put it in LA or Dubai. Very modern, but on the other hand, Bodrum. It's in Bodrum, and it's Mediterranean. It's Bodrum, and there's the blue for Bodrum is registered. Like there's a Bodrum blue color. Like there's so much to hold on to, and you cannot just leave them behind and design. So this is the kitchen of the project, and the kitchen of this project wasn't like this before. Oops, I have an old cat, sorry. He cannot hear himself anymore, so he might be very loud sometimes. So there was a kitchen in here again, a white lacquered one, a built-in kitchen. Like everything was built-in, very technical, modern equipment and stuff. But it wasn't Bodrum. It wasn't a summer house. So this was how it was before, when we just entered, and this was a complete project. When our client bought this house, it was complete. Like these were like textured fabric wallpapers, as if it was in Maya residence in here or so. What we tried to create in here, of course, with the analyzing not only the geography, not only the location or the color of the blue outside or etc. or the Mediterranean, but also the characteristic of the client, of the family, how they live, how they cook, how they just move around the house. So we just opened up all the space. We used Kayrak slate, the local one. I wish this building was built with this slate instead of covering it with slate, but from this stage, there's nothing you can do about that as well. So this is Bodrum. We love structurally designing and shaping the whole project, this project like a shelf. We like approaching projects more like an architect than a decorator. This is a Richard Serra's installation. I think it's just perfect, and it explains the idea here. So this is I think this was our first project as Ofist in Osman Bey. This is a wholesale pret-a-porter, ready-made clothing brand, but they had clients with coming with appointment, and so they were keeping everything inside the cabinets. So we created the whole space as just one single around this. We shaped the whole space around one single idea. And just applied it. Like it lasted for like maybe 8 years or so. They just didn't even change it. This was another project. Yargıcı. Actually, Yargıcı didn't come to us for any design, or they didn't request any design from us. We just came up with this idea. It was 2006. We were new. We were very excited, and we wanted to create. We wanted to just implement everything and so. And this was like a very good idea to us. And we said we thought maybe this would be a very good project for Yargıcı Accessorize, and let's just somehow find the right person to get in contact and just suggest them. I think my biggest lesson in interior design was this one. Emir Yargıcı is the coolest, one of the coolest guys in Turkey, I guess. He just listened and just looked at our project and said, "This is old." And I said, "How come it's not old? Like, how come you can say that there is nothing like this and blah, blah?" And he said, "It's old once you do it." I think this is very tricky and very, very good lesson. He said, "You know the Yargıcı store in Nişantaşı on the corner?" Yes, of course, everyone knows. He said, "We just they don't redesign it, but refurbish it every year, but you don't notice. And it's never old. It's just there and it belongs there, and it can be maybe in, I don't know, in Nice, France or Belgium, and you wouldn't just question it. You don't maybe remember anything about the store right now, but they don't need you to remember the store. What they need is you to come and feel good inside and shop and then just go. And once you see it from outside, or once you pass by, that you know it's Yargıcı store, that's all. But structurally designing, this one is another example. And this one is also a structurally designing idea. This was for Wadi Al-Hada as well, for the bathrooms, shaping every function around the same idea with the same material. We design responsibly and respectfully to the environment, history, cultures, and with the awareness of all global varieties. Especially when you consider the colorfulness of this geography where we live in. It is not very clever to ignore them all and try to start from scratch. We are not in Dubai, we're not like where there is nothing to hold on to, where like every architect, every designer create just very star projects. It's like, for example, in Bodrum, you see there is so much to hold on to, and ignoring them and trying to create something very different is not very clever, actually. This is a house in Gümüşlü, Taksim, which was designed by a Greek architect a century ago, but it's an Istanbul house characteristic, which was bought by an Englishman and redesigned by us Turkish Yasemin Arpaç. So many colors and so many things. How can you ignore them? I remember our first meeting with this gentleman. very exciting, very excited, very interesting guy. It lasted 5 minutes. We just saw each other there, and he was actually, we are as Turkish people very new to interior design, and we still don't feel the need to somehow place it in our lives, or maybe we don't have the budget enough, etc. He said the half of these ornaments were missing. The original radiators were mostly missing. They were replaced with the new aluminum radiators. The window frames were changed with the plastic ones, and he said, like, oh, these are hideous, change them, because like he's a very Englishman, and like, oh, change them, I like the original, I want the original, etc. For these ornaments, let me see, where's my mouse? Yes. For the missing parts, how you can just apply them is either you just remove them all and just they have almost the same ornaments ready, and you can just remake them, or you take a mold from what's remaining, which is not perfect anymore because paint after paint with the scratches and like the everything, you don't have the perfect mold. I remember in 2012, the painter came to me and said, okay, to take the mold of this stuff and reapply them is like 8,000 Turkish liras, but I found the mold, the original mold of this one. Let's remove them all and just we'll make them again, and it will cost not more than 1,000 Turkish liras. I don't remember the prices exactly, but the difference was something like this. I had to offer because like there is a big change in the price. And the guy said to me that he bought this house for that remains, which are sadly remain there. He paid all this money for all those remains, and he wants to keep it. This is perfect approach. Sometimes you need to talk again and again, speak again and again to your client to just I don't know. It's not correct to say teach, but you have to let them know the right thing. Why plastic windows do not belong in this house? Why those ornaments, the remains of the ornaments, are more valuable than the new perfect ones. This house is in Cihangir. This was already on a building which is already getting renovated by an architect as a whole. So our friend approached us and he said, okay, I don't know where, how they will end up. So please get involved as soon as possible. For example, on this wall, there was the remains of the brick walls were not very well maintained, and the workmanship was not very good. Not all of them are very well implemented on those days. So there was too much of brick walls around. We needed some extra things, so we covered it up with a fabric wall. There was already an opening in here, and this is the kitchen of the space. Like our approach to this project was, okay, there is this old building, again designed and built by a Greek architect, but this guy, our new, like the new owner of this space, is living in the 2012. And he works in a bank. He just has a very fast, very busy life. Istanbul is not very easy to live when compared to 100 years ago. So you have to create a space which is more convenient, easy to use, flexible, for example. But our approach in here was both try to keep the spirit of the building, of the design, previous design, but somehow move in as the new client, as the new owner of the house, move in there and somehow get along with it, not just change it, or because they were placing too many cabinets, built-in kitchens in here, and they were fixing these tiles as if they were there because they were missing, they were not there anymore, on the floor of this kitchen. And we said, stop, give them to us, because yes, the spirit of them belong in here, but they were not in here, they didn't exist. But of course there was a positive side of using the wooden parquet in the kitchen as well, because this is a very, very small house, and there's so little light. With this opening space, opening up this walls and creating just a see-through sliding door, adding these wooden tiles just somehow connected the space with the hallway and the living room itself. But we used the tiles, but not as if they were there, but we just created a panel and we just hang it on the wall instead. Local solutions. Sustainability is important, and we always talk about sustainable buildings and stuff, which is still an argument, because when trying to create a really sustainable building, with the effort and with the energy and with the budget you spend there, it is still a conflict if you are really doing some good to the earth or not. But still, there are some things you can do, and the easiest thing is local solutions. Like, do not bring a marble from Mexico or from Portuguese. You do not use Portuguese marble. When you're in Mediterranean, use the materials what's around you. This is what will make your project unique, and what will make your project belong to that spot. And this is not only materials, this is also solutions. So this is the same house in Mandarin Oriental. We didn't do much in this house, so we just added some clever things to make it more Mediterranean. But like these ornaments on the ceiling in here, they just have a word about the architecture, the traditional architecture in here. They're not imitations. They are just versions of it, but they give you a feeling of what's around. For example, these panels, ceiling panels. The reason we created them is there's a very high ceiling, and that's high. The height is valuable, of course, but it is recognized, and it is more valuable when you use it three-dimensionally, first of all. And there's another point in here, is that this is a living room where you mostly sit or lay down, and this is a cozy summer house, which you need to feel comfortable and cozy. And with all these high ceilings and big aluminum windows and like frames, this was not homey. So how we approach in here is that it's like an old Turkish house ceiling, but of course they don't put a panel to give you that feeling in an old Turkish house. It's structurally built that way. But this is not also an imitation of that, but it's also a version of that, which actually solves our other need in here. The need to create a more cozy, more proportional dimension to create a more cozy living room, sitting and relaxing area. And of course, I don't need to mention these local tiles and stuff. In 2009, Marmara marble became so very popular with the striped version of it. And we liked it too, of course, before it was used in so many places. We just created this time with 15 by 15 centimeter tiles, and we just placed them next to each other and created a pocket for the shower and the toilet area. And both of them has glass panels, glass doors. The shower side is transparent. On the other hand, it's not. We don't see it in here because the panel is open. The glass door is open, but it's stained, imitating as stained as like these stripes. Maybe I don't know if I had put. No, we don't have any more images of it. Anyway. Creating flexible solutions that can be adapted to new era and functions. It's always a must to think from the user point of view, for example. Oops. Sorry for this. Yes. In order to create a sustainable project, so once you are out as an interior designer, for your project to last, it needs to function. So you have to analyze what your client needs first. So this was an office building for a factory in Cherkezköy, and this is very engineering people, like they create valves for big natural gas things. Anyway, so he said, like, we are, I don't remember how many people they were, but we are such many people. And he said, I have so engineering, like, you know, so engineer man, middle-aged, more than middle-aged. He said, I have to see these guys, they have to see these, and I have to hear them. They don't have to be see the others. They need to connect the others, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, we are going to be probably more crowded in the near future, but I don't want to invest for that right now. So what we created was cubicles, which took all the electrical energy source from the ceiling, which were to be moved around when needed. Of course, not everyday use, but like when needed, when they need to add a cubicle, they were going to be able to move them, which gave them flexibility later on if they get more crowded. And also for the cubicles, there's just one single idea for the cubicles, but there are some alternative materials for the separators. So they could use mesh, glass, or some wooden panels, some fabric panels to create, like, of course, the acoustic side of it, or the visibility, or if it should be heard from outside or not. So this is just flexibility for your client to be able to use the space later on once you're out and this makes the correct project, not the good, bad, or beautiful one, but the correct project. So analyzing, analyzing, analyzing again. Attention to details. We like simple ideas. Simple ideas like in here, but perfect details. Simple ideas need perfect details. Then what's different or what's very successful about them is the simple ideas, is the perfect details of these simple ideas. These connections in here, or we created radiators from some industrial elements, or again details. For these steps to just function, or for these steps to be implemented in here, of course this wall in here is structurally solved and like strengthened and solved. Or this rail, handrail, comes and does not go down, instead it goes up. And there's, I like this detail, there's also, it comes from here, the natural gas pipe, which looks very similar to this one, and it continues on the other side of this wall, for example. Details. This is Karaköy loft again. So there is heating from the floor in this house. So every detail is so important because then you cannot go and fix something to the wall, to the floor, or it was the same with the structure from the counter structure as well. It was a metal structure which was screwed, fixed on the floor, which means that you have to consider all the details when you were implementing this water installations to the floor. Then otherwise you can just pop the pipes and you're going to ruin whatever you had done. But for this image, I think this was the first detail that we had solved in this project, because you first install the implement the water installations built-in parts in a project, in a construction. The first thing, so you have to know what you are going to place. So you have to know that you are going to use a sink tap which comes from the floor. Okay, this is, you can design something like this, and you can also think of it and choose your product and buy your product. You need to. But okay, this is easy. There is a glass panel behind. But how are you going to create this going out part? Because I remember there was no ready-made single piece product that we could buy. So I remember we bought 3 items, I think, 3 sets of very simple product, and we just fix them to each other, create this S. What you need, what is the idea, the simple idea is to create an S to keep the bad odor from coming from the pipes in here because of this water in here. So we just bought these and we just played with them, I remember, in the office, and created this, and then decide, okay, this goes in here, so the where it will come on the floor, the dimension, the exact measurement is here. So another thing, we just place the mirror in here, but there is also a window just behind the toilet part. So there might be a wind, or he can just accidentally touch the mirror, and we need to somehow fix it, or we need to avoid this mirror to just somehow tap this glass panel or get broken or so. So we created these sailing materials. These are metal parts, and these again sailing materials, but we bought these from Eminönü. These are weights, regular, how do you say, like pazar weights, like the when you go buy vegetables and stuff, they weigh them with these. We got them, and we just made these parts with the molder and just create details. What makes them different? Another detail. This is also again the house that we created. We placed the tiles on the wall instead of the floor. These tiles were already there, and they were going to look. This is the only bathroom of this house, and the guy who lives here showers 2 times a day, and they were going to place a bathtub with the lion clothes, you know, with the paws. And he said, I cannot shower in a tub like that. So I need a shower. So what can you do? How can you do that? Like, these are wooden original panels. Like they are very characteristic of the style of the period. And we said, okay, let's not touch the structure of the building. Let's just move in to it, not interfere with it. So we came up with an idea with a freestanding shower cabin, but this is a very small bathroom, and this shower cabin doesn't touch any part of this bathroom. Only connection to the walls are these hot water and cold water in inputs. And all this stuff is connected on this glass separator, not on the wall. And for how should I say? And for the water to go out, and there's a flexible hose just below, but somehow you need to move this in case to be able to clean around. So we said, okay, let's put wheels then. And we place wheels underneath. It can go around so that they can just pull it and clean the wall and just floor and then push it back. It cannot go to the living room, but still you can just clean it around. So there's always a way. Simple ideas, perfect details need perfect implementation. Very simple. See the handrail? Very simple. This house, very old again, one of the first. We worked on it for 1 month. He was so in a hurry, very much. So we just did very little, but simple, perfect details and simple, very clean implementation. Then it makes the difference. This is the Englishman's house in Gümüşsuyu, which, like, how we stick to all those historical 100 years old elements around in the house. In this bathroom, it's like very, when you just first look at it, it's like futuristic, very modern. There was nothing left. There was a very ordinary bathroom there, not anything remaining from the old part. We just shaped everything with Korean, also the floor. And this is not because of the lens. This was not parallel. These two walls not parallel. So this is really, shape is like this. But still, there is one referring to old. Like, there is a way how you just up to some point use a material. Then after setting a line in here, creating a line. After that line, going to a different material. So there is still one leverage. There's still one idea you stick to. However, you, in your own way, re-implement it, redesign it. We never promised for unrealistic timing and budget. This is important. Everybody hates architects, everybody hates interior designers. I'm telling you, because everyone says like 10, it will cost 10, then by the middle of it, it's already 15 and you cannot go back. And they say, because like clients ask for it. Clients ask for it. You say 10 and they say, oh no, let's do it for 5. And once you say 5 and you promise it and it's not realistic and it becomes then 12 or 13 because of the mistakes made during the process. Or they say, quick, I need it in 2 months. Well, it's not realistic. Then it becomes 6 months and then the architect is, bad. We never promised for unrealistic timing and budget, especially when it's a business you are facing with. You have to just be on time. You have to do what you promise. So promise what you can do. This is Nam Nam. The original design of Nam Nam belonged to Mahmut Annar. Then it was like a little bit like a naughty boy design. So we just added some more feminine touch. It became like a little naughty girl style. So this is the Coton's headquarters of the flat or the whole building. So once you are dealing with businesses, you have to be more precise, you have to be more on time. And as a designer, you are just a piece of a whole journey. And you are just, for example, if it's a restaurant, whatever you design, if he doesn't serve good food, it doesn't last. If the prices for the food is not appropriate, the pricing, it won't last. If the location is not good, it won't last. So you're just one part of it. And realizing being just one part of it and starting from design stage, it doesn't last. Yeah, it doesn't end. These are 3Ds of Nam Nam. This is the construction period. And we take professional photographs. Then we go and observe it again, which the next Nam Nam was never the same as the one before. Because you always have, you learn from the previous one, or your client comes again with another requirement. For example, the cigarette smoking regulation changed in Turkey, and he comes and says, okay, we have to just remove all the windows, and it never ends. And this is the personal motivation side of it. Once you get published, once you get awards, I can tell you that we never, I think we had really never, I cannot remember exactly, but we had never got a client because we had won an award or we were published in a magazine or something else. But this is a very personal satisfaction and it's nice. So this is all. Thank you for listening. I hope I didn't even check the time. I hope I was not too...
That's okay, dear Yasemin Arpaç. It's just the time. No worries about it. We are thankful for this very inspiring, very informing, joyful, energetic speech of yours, as always. So you bring joy with your speeches always. Thank you for that. So I would like to look at our students for their questions. Maybe if I were them, I wouldn't miss a chance to ask a question to you. Maybe they are also preparing their questions if they have. Dear students or dear faculty members, do you have comments or questions to Yasemin Arpaç? Let's wait for a few minutes, maybe a few seconds.
Merhaba hocam. Nihal,
Merhaba.
ben Yasemin Hoca'yı gördüğümde çok mutlu oldum. 1. sınıfta bize dersimize giriyordu. Gerçekten o zaman da kendisini çok seviyordum. Geçen sefer de ertelendiği için çok üzüldüm. Ama bu sefer yakaladığım için çok mutluyum. O şeyde biraz aklıma takılan şeyler oldu. Bu S gibi bir boru yapmıştınız ya, bir de ağırlıkları asmıştınız. Arka tarafta cam vardı. Yani hani o sallanan bir şey değil mi sonuçta? Ağırlık var ama nasıl bir ağırlık? Aynayı silmek istedim.
I'm sorry, dear students, try your best to ask your questions in English because you know that these series are in English, but of course if you have, quite a lot problems about language will help you. Try your best to speak in English. So, Yasemin Hocam.
So I'll just summarize it so
sure.
I think everyone will understand. There's a glass panel. It's not easy to break anyway, because like if it's somehow broken, it's laminated or it's tempered, like in case of an accident, that it will not hurt anybody. But still, there's a mirror hanging there. It's not a very big mirror. It's not very heavy, but it's a plate. Like when you hit to it, or like when there's a little bit wind, it can move. What would probably happen would that mirror would get broken, and it wouldn't cost very much of a big deal. There's no little child living in this house. There's nothing so very big issue about it, but like as an architect you have to just solve it. So we could just fix it to the floor instead of all those weights. Instead of fixing to the wall, which is very common to do, we created those weights. Like they were, I think, 2.5 kilograms each. So 5 kilograms of weight is just enough for the wind to move that piece of mirror, or like if someone just accidentally hits with the hand or stuff. But if this house was belonging to a family with 3 kids, we wouldn't be designing something like that. Of course, the house wouldn't have staircase like that or many other things. But the question is there and you solve it. So the question is not a very big problematic one. The solution is just appropriate.
Thank you hocam.
So, any more questions, dear students or faculty members?
Sizin, I think I was so very clear and exact in everything. Everybody's understood everything.
Everybody is now satisfied with your speech, dear Yasemin. So I will be asking again. If there are none, maybe, there are 3. We were looking for 1, but there comes 3. So let's start with, I don't know who was the first, but Halit Beşli is in the list. So Halit, you go first, please.
Hocam hi öncelikle. İyi akşamlar herkese.
Hi.
Yasemin hocam, have you ever had a design that you said yani I should have designed this design, or yani bunu tasarlamalıydım hani dediğiniz bir şey var mı ya da çok beğendiğiniz böyle?
Of course I do. I always do. But like I realize that I always envy the most simplest idea. I remember one. There was a store. I don't remember whose project was it or where it was, but like there was very thin metal pipes, böyle tijler var, and they became the shape of like They came like this and became the shape of a cloth hanger. And there were, I think there were, I don't remember exactly, but there were some holes and they were just placing wherever they like it. And very simple. And I said, very simple idea, but very clever. Or like Lampegras. Lampegras is a lighting fixture brand, and all the series of it, I envy it. Like very simple, very sleek, very appropriate to every project. You can just place it every corner, and it has so many versions of it, but very simple, and I love it. Right? On the other hand, as a conflict to what what I had said, Patricia Urquila's colors and details and like furniture, unbelievable, like very smart, very chic, very beautiful. Would I design something like that? No, it's not me actually, but perfect.
So thank you for answering, Hocam.
Thank you, Halit, for your question. And a question comes from the chat box. Then I'm going to move on to other people who are raising their hands. Enes Yılmaz is asking, I like the Kadıköy Loft project, but I wonder if the open kitchen storage areas do bring cleaning problems or not.
So I'm going to ask you, Enes, if you does this bother you? If it does, this is not a house for you. Do you understand? I don't, maybe Sezen, you had, oops, sorry, what happened? Yes.
No, we're here.
Okay.
We're seeing you.
I remember telling students like, could this be the floor of a house? A shape like this. Of course, they come with an idea of no. Well, maybe two skaters live in this house. How can you say? But could this be the floor of a restaurant or of an office? Then no. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a house, and whoever lives in that house, when you're designing, especially for that person, custom made, you know, as if you are stitching a jacket for some specific body. There's no right or wrong to that. There's a correct to that. So is it correct? For who? For the owner. So this is funny because each time we go to that house, it's been like 5-6 years now, the house stays just the same. But there's two options. Stays the same because nothing can move. He has to just keep it like that. Or it's like, it's very successful and he's happy with it and he doesn't need to move. When we ask him, he's very happy, then this is a successful project and this is the correct project. For example, this question, because stripcase, the staircase, remember, was very popular and all around the internet as well. Everybody's writing the same thing. Oh, dust everywhere, dust everywhere. And I'm just looking at it like, okay, every staircase has the same steps in the house. This one has 2 or 3 additional shelves in it, and that's all. And it's easier to clean because all around is open. But this is the idea. Maybe your house will be a more hygienic place. This is why you have to analyze your client. This is how you make the correct project for the correct person and come up with the successful project instead of the good-looking, most beautiful one.
Have Ayça. Ayça, you can ask your question if you like.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time and coming here to give us this webinar, I should say. If it's okay, I want to ask 2 questions. The first one is quite superficial, actually. I try to ask this to every guest so that I have a collective list of experiences and recommendations from many different people. what would be an advice that you would give to your younger self or to us?
So hard. Why? The period has changed. I would go abroad. I would. But right now, because of the pandemic, we cannot just move anywhere. Anyhow, I see that during time I was very impatient. Now I see that impatience is, you cannot avoid that. You're going to be impatient, but it's okay. Like, and there's just one single thing. Even if you are a graduate or so, if you don't like what you're doing, don't. 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, it's nothing. You're going to live like this. And you have to enjoy it, because you have to somehow earn money to survive. Okay. I have to say that we are on the design side of it, there's no money. I'm telling you, there's no, you don't earn much. So decide on what you like. You don't have to be a designer. You don't have to be an interior architect because you just studied so. If you're studying still and you don't like it, just give up. I would say so. And for as generation, I think you guys are much more luckier than us. The parents are more aware of their kids' flexibilities or tendencies, and so I decided when I was in middle school to become an interior designer. Maybe I would study architecture instead of interior designer, being an interior designer. But I found out that accidentally I chose the right thing to do. I like it, I enjoy it, but even I just decided very long ago, it was just an accident. I was a kid, I was 15 years old. Guys, you're still 20, 18. It's so early to decide on what you are going to be, and you don't have to be. You can change. If you don't like it, change it. It's never too late. You have to enjoy it. And also, for the specific interior architect, you can be many versions of it. Be the version that you are going to enjoy, and be the version that you are going to be good at. Okay? You can just sell Pima Pen to Toki and be rich, and this is also interior architecture. Or you can just be on the product side of it. You can just open up a store. You can just design products and sell through web, internet, or Instagram. Yeah, there's so many ways of it. Just find the way you're going to enjoy. That's all.
Thank you.
Maybe from this point on, maybe now is the time to thank Yasemin Arpaç. Dear Yasemin, thank you. Thank you very much, because I think your speech has really conveyed a very direct message to our interior architecture and architecture students, because I think so, because I understood, and everybody, I'm sure they have understood. I knew it, by the way. If you're devoted to your profession, there is nothing you can't do. But the first thing is really your devotion and love towards your profession. So that's the most important message that you have conveyed today, with other, of course, very significant issues that you have pointed out. So we are really grateful for your participation and your support that you have given to ArchiDesign Talks with your speech. And now I'm giving the microphone to Mine Hocam so that she has some words for you as well.
Well, thank you for this delightful presentation. It's been great having you here. We have a little tradition here in ArchiDesign Talks. As Bahçeşehir University Faculty of Architecture and Design, we donate to TEMA in our guest's name. So now you have 5 young trees in a memorial forest in Eskişehir. We thank you so much for all of your time and effort.
Okay. To thank you, I'm going to donate 5 more right after this presentation.
Thank you.
Perfect present. Thank you. And thank you for having me every time. Nice to be with you guys.
We miss you, really.
with this COVID, we cannot be together anyway. Like everything is like far from so far each other. But okay, nice being with you. Thank you again. Thank you everyone for joining.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.